We are gonna do something really cool today. At least I'm gonna show you something really cool today. And we're gonna show you how to build a frame from scratch with no frame table and just building it on a 3x6 workbench. So we're gonna take you through all of this and I'll kind of explain what's going on a little bit here. This is all cribbing that's gonna hold the frame up in place. Well, we're mocking everything up in here and to be able to drop it all back down again. We're going to add on to this a little bit and I'll show you some of that stuff. But first I'll show you the front clip, the C4 Corvette suspension that we were working on. And I'll show you some of the mistakes that I made so you guys don't have to make the same mistake. So part of this, we decided to add on this outcropping here to make the radiator drop down in here so we could get a little bit more room for the intercooler in the front. This is the front of the truck. This is the motor cradle. It's obviously standing straight up right now for ease of video wise. And we found out that the front bumper mount really, and the radiator needs to go, the radiator needs to go down, but this is going to be blocking off some of the radiator flow, so we're going to move this front down here. And it came up with a templates to make these transition pieces right here. So instead of doing our miter cuts like this the hard way and mitering it and doing all that, I decided it would be easier, better to just make an S-bend transition. So our piece is going to go on here like this, but I forgot all about that I have mounts on the bottom here for the sway bar to go on to. And so I had to shorten this way up above and beyond the template. I was going to make the transition piece right here, but I can't because of the notch for the rack and pinion, plus the sway bar mount is right here and right here. So that's where the sway bar mount is, and if I made that notch that big, I was going to eliminate the sway bar mount. So we cut this back apart again after it's all welded together, and we are going to make the offset pieces like this. But I want to show you how we make these offset pieces, because there is a process to it to make it strong enough to be structural and everything. So now we moved it forward 2 inches, down 2¼ inches now. So this is going to be the final shape of it anyways. We're going to get this back up on the bench and weld this all up and make it all one piece again. But as long as we got it cut apart, it'd be a perfect time to put our bumper mounts in there as well. So this way I can put this in the milling machine now. I have it marked out right here for these holes. I was going to use rivet nuts, and here I'll show you what those are. There's a tool for these rivet nuts, but there's also bigger ones that you can get that are like this. And these I got from McMaster Car. These are a 3/8 threaded, 3/8 16 threaded insert. And when this is the tool that installs them right here. Hold this with a wrench, you tighten this up once it's in the hole, and it squeezes and expands that so that it squishes it, so it presses it into the hole. That's what I was going to use on the front, because it was going to mount the bumper on, which would have taken the impact only this way. But after I thought about it a little bit, and I'm like, I'm going to make some sleeves. I'm not going to use those rivet nuts, because it would be a perfect spot to put, if he decides to not use the bumper, instead, it'd be a perfect spot to put a tow hook to right here. So if you're racing it, they can pull you off the track, or if you ever get in the ditch, they can pull you out when this thing is going to be really low to the ground. And it also might be a really good spot if you put it in a trailer, you could just hook on, cinch it down right here, and you don't got to crawl underneath the thing for a tie down spot. So those rivet nuts wouldn't be good for a good pull like that, but they'd be fine, you know, for an impact to hold that bumper on. But we're not going to use those. We're going to make some tube sleeves to go in there. We'll drill and tap those, and we'll weld those on both sides. But now we can get into the milling machine. Because we cut this off, I can easily put this in the vise in the milling machine, and we can get those bumper mounts in there really easy, accurate. Obviously you don't need to use the milling machine, but it works really cool doing a bolt pattern like that. You know it's spot on with the milling machine. But I want to take you through these S-bends right here and show you what we did and how this works welding on the outside corner now. So a lot of frame manufacturers do that as well, weld the whole outside corner, and I'll show you some of the problems with that. So when you weld like this, a plate where you've got one piece on top of the other one, and you got a nice outside corner, it's a great way to weld because now you have a trough for the weld to go right into. So you could weld right in here and get a nice bead all along there. But if you want to round that off a little bit, you take all of the material and you take it away to the point where there's very little material left in there, and you make it a very weak joint. And with this tubing, you can see with this tubing here how rounded the corners are and everything too. So if you do a corner weld where you weld a bead all along there, it won't match up with this rounded radius because it's gonna be like this. So this was welded on the outside right here. And how I do this, so I did my cardboard template, and really lost, oh, there it is. So I did my cardboard templates first. I laid all those 4 of them out on a sheet of 1/8 inch steel, cut all those out in the bandsaw, no CNC stuff here at all. Cut these all out in the bandsaw, cut the side pieces out in the bandsaw. But before I did that, I measured the inside of this tube right here, and I made the pieces to go the same width as the inside and the inside here. So these ended up being the exact same thickness right here. So they're the same thickness now, and they're the same width right now. So once I weld that all together, it can make that blend in, but you can see how much more round this corner is than this corner. So this was outside TIG welded right here all along here, but in order for me to round those off to make those match up to this radius, I took a wire feed, because you can get at the inside of them, and this is one of the reasons why I absolutely hate a wire feed. God, it just looks like ass in there. It looks just terrible. But I added all that material on the inside with the wire feed, and this is after it was TIG welded, so you don't get really clean, good metal in there that way, because the TIG welding distorts that a little bit, and it sugars it a little bit on the inside, so it doesn't weld up really nice on the inside, but it gives you that extra filler material meat in there. Now, once I welded the whole inside with the wire feed like that, the outside is welded, now the inside is welded too. Now I got some meat in there to work with. So now I can blend these with a grinder, and I can radius this a little bit more here to match up to this tube radius, so that both of those radiuses will end up being the same once it's welded together. And always bevel the edges, and so you have a nice little trough right there, and there's full penetration goes, and then I'll do a root pass, really skinny root pass first. After I do the root pass all the way around, get that all the way to the backside, then I'll go over it with a weld where I'll wash the whole thing here back and forth like this, and it'll be built up just a little bit here then I can grind that all down flush, and it's just as strong as this metal is right here, because it's the same thickness, it's full penetration on there. You can grind those welds down so you don't have all these joints in it like that. And that's the same way that we did the rear clip here too, same way. But there is spots where I don't want to grind any more down here because the tube is actually distorted. So it's got little puckers in it along. You can see the pucker right here too. And from the mandrel bender, so these tubes don't match up perfectly. So you can't get them to just blend out completely, but you can just flush them up like that, and just a quick little swipe of Bondo over there, and boom, there you go. And you'll have a joint that no one will even know was there. So this is our rear clip now. So built the front clip on this bench right here, and after the front clip, then we went on to the rear clip here. We're gonna get this next, and we're gonna show you how to set up a 4-link on here as well, and how we're gonna modify and do that, because these universal 4-link kits are exactly that. They're universal to the point where our particular ride height, these brackets are not going to work. And so we're gonna have to make all new brackets for it. I'll probably make new end brackets and everything for it as well. So I got to play around with that design a little bit. The parallel 4-link, these link bars need to be set at ride height right now in a parallel fashion. They need to be level. The link bars need to be level at ride height. So we need to get this ride height simulation done on here, crunch some more numbers, figure out where everything's going to be before we can start building our 4-link brackets and stuff. But we're going to pull this off of the bench now. We're going to get the front clip back up here again. We're going to tie those S-bends in there. Our S-bends that we have, we're going to tie those into our front clip, and we're going to get that front clip completely done. We'll get that put up in place. Then we're going to come to the rear suspension and start working on that rear suspension and get that set up. And then we'll make the piece for the middle to tie everything in together. So you can do this in sections. You don't even have to have a welding bench. You could literally do this on a piece of plywood or whatever too, as long as you have some shims and a level. And a level like this, you'll use it all the time. A level like this, you use it constantly when you're building frames like this. So as long as the piece is level and square, you can do this. Doesn't matter whether you have a workbench, a concrete floor, a piece of plywood, or whatever. You could do all this stuff to it. So use what you have available to you. Don't say I can't build a frame from scratch because I don't have a frame table. Yes, you can. If you're smart about that and you listen to some tips and techniques how to do it properly, you can do this yourself as well. So we're going to take you through the whole process and start a whole process from scratch now, from a series of building this complete frame from scratch. And we'll try to rewind a little bit and start from the beginning of how I go about the process of building this frame from scratch. We're going to take you through some of that next, but I thought I might rewind first a little bit and show you kind of the chaos that's been going on around here on all these parts and pieces. And we're going to get stuff together, so stay tuned for a lot more. We got a lot more coming up, a lot more fabrication, design, a lot of welding tips, tricks, and techniques and stuff as well. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget to like, comment, give me a comment below, subscribe, hit the bell, ring that for notifications. We are going to be hitting this hard and heavy, so lots more coming up, guys. Wednesdays are our new date. We are posting a new video every Wednesday, so stay tuned for more, guys. Catch you on the next one. Don't forget to like this video. Click like, throw me a comment, let me know what you think. Ring the bell for those notifications when we get a new video. We got lots more coming up, guys. A lot of cool stuff coming up. I hope you guys are enjoying the ride.